small class on some insights on Parshat Behar and Bechukotai. This week's Parsha, it's a double Parsha. So Behar literally means on the mountain. And why does it start like this? Because they're talking about mitzvah that God was communicating with Moses on the mountain. And which mountain? It's Mount Sinai. So the Midrash says that the reason Hashem chose to give the Torah on Mount Sinai is because Mount Sinai was a smaller mountain, and Hashem was teaching us that to really become a vessel to receive Torah, we need to have humility, and that's why the Torah was given on Mount Sinai. So the question is, if the Torah needs to be given in a place that is indicating humility, why not just give it in the valley? Because the valley is a lower place, right? So obviously we're saying Sinai is the smallest of the mountains. However, it's still a mountain, and a mountain is a high place, which is not so much speaking of humility and lowliness. And our Parsha, this week's first Parsha of the double Parsha, is Behar. And it doesn't even clarify that it's Mount Sinai, the smallest of the mountains. So it's not kind of speaking about humility. So to explain this, the need for humility in the service of Hashem varies according to each person's level of knowledge and their spiritual growth. So generally speaking, when we come to spiritual levels, and there's a beginner who's their study and their practice they've not really attained the mindset and the personality that everything is totally in harmony, and it's a challenge. And at this point, ego kind of gets in their way, because ego is a challenge for them. So at that point, they can't really have ego in a sense. So then you get a person reaches the level of an intermediate, that this person, they've already really refined their personality and started to really understand the values of the spiritual life that we live, and they've attained much more knowledge. So while they obviously have humility, and it's a very dominant feature, at certain times they may need to use their ego in a certain instances, especially to protect their spirituality, or whenever they may see fit, and they know that they really need it at that moment. But nevertheless, even though they may need to use their ego at that time, they need to temper it with humility, so they shouldn't be arrogant or selfish. And then the third level is when a person gets too advanced. That's when a person has really transformed their mind and their body, that they're completely in alignment with the values of Torah and Hashem, and the ego is not even a threat to their relationship with Hashem. And if they would exercise their ego, like let go of it, they would, by using their ego in a sense, they're really only using it in the service of Hashem, and to reinforce and strengthen their personality, which is totally dedicated to Hashem and the Torah. So that's why our Parsha is called Behar, without even clarifying that it was Mount Sinai, the smallest mountain. The Torah is teaching us that every single one of us in our nation, has the power and the capability to become a spiritual giant, that we can, and we really don't even need, hopefully at that point when we reach that level, we don't need to worry about our humility, so to speak, and we could really, because we're in complete alignment with Hashem.